In this video, you'll find the temptation of forbidden fruit, anxiety in the face of the unknown, the deadly breath of the serpent, paralyzing fear, a dead end, a ray of hope, mysterious uncertainty, a triumphant victory, a new home, a fragrant reward, a moment of absolute calm, Bezabik's moment of glory, the eastern atmosphere of the evening, barely contained irritation, true delight, the perfect ending.
Close up. Morning light falls on the glass of the terrarium. Baby Toothless wakes up and stretches. The baby approaches the glass, places its front paws on it, and scratches with its claws. Low-angle shot. Toothless hops up, grabs the top edge of the terrarium, and pulls himself up. He balances on the narrow edge of the glass, flapping his tiny wings comically to keep from falling. He carefully positions himself on the volcano, preparing to make a leap. He's almost ready to jump. 1 minute, and the jump down. Toothless lands softly on the shaggy carpet in the living room. The camera follows him at floor level. He clumsily runs toward the open glass door leading to the backyard. Toothless crosses the threshold and finds himself on a sun-drenched green lawn. He sways cutely on the grass. The little dragon looks up. A large apple tree towers before him. Toothless begins to climb the branch, deftly clinging with his claws. He reaches the branch where a huge red apple hangs. Toothless begins to eat the apple carefully, savoring every bite. The cheerful little dragon runs back toward the house. The apple gets in his way, but he stubbornly drags it along. He enters the living room again, unaware of the danger. The camera pans up smoothly. A huge, terrifying shadow appears on the floor in front of Toothless. Toothless freezes, his pupils dilating. He slowly looks up. Hanging from the ceiling is the colossal deathworm Astrid. He lets out a deafening hissing roar and lunges forward. Toothless presses his ears back and tries to back away. The thick, spiny body of Astrid's deadly serpent wraps itself around little Toothless. The serpent's coils tighten. The little one is scared. His heart is pounding. He looks into the snake's mouth and fear grips him. Toothless thrashes, trying to free his front paws. A red apple falls from the choking little one's mouth. The apple hits the floor, rolls across the carpet, and comes. The little one closes his eyes tightly. He can't breathe. Toothless's chest begins to pulse faintly with a neon blue light. The light spreads down his spine, igniting the dragon's dorsal spines. Confused, the deadly serpent in Astrid loosens her grip. A massive plasma explosion occurs. The living room is filled with thick gray smoke. Furniture is scattered about. Standing in the middle of the smoke is Toothless the teen. He opens his eyes. Now they radiate fury and strength. Toothless makes a sharp turn and swings a blow at the dragon, and it flies off, shattering the glass into pieces. The dragon roars triumphantly. I realized that my dragon had already grown, and he simply didn't have enough space in the room anymore. So I decided to build a full outdoor terrarium for him. First, I chose the location. It was important for me that it had both sunlight and shade, so he could feel comfortable at any time of the day. Then I prepared the area. I cleared everything, leveled the ground, and created a solid base to keep everything stable. Next, I started building the frame, strong and reliable, because I already know my dragon doesn't forgive weak structures. After that, I installed the walls, transparent so I could watch him but strong enough to keep him safely inside. The most interesting part was the interior. I added soil, rocks, created elevations and hiding spots so he could climb, explore, and rest. I also made a warm zone where he could bask, and a cooler area for resting. When I finished, I let him in for the first time, and he immediately began exploring everything. And honestly, in that moment, I realized it was all worth it. He throws a sharp jab with his left front paw, and the bag swings away. Dragon lands a series of quick strikes with both paws, and the bag falls. Toothless fires a precise plasma burst, shattering the first target into pieces. 2 more quick shots in a row destroy the remaining targets. I hold a thick oak plank in front of the dragon. Toothless snaps his jaws shut on the plank, snapping it in half. He spits out the splinters and snorts smugly, puffing smoke from his nostrils. The little dragon notices a butterfly gently fluttering in front of him and immediately dashes after it. He tries to catch it, clumsily moving his paws and barely keeping his balance. But suddenly, he doesn't notice a small bump on the ground. He trips and falls forward in a funny way. He pauses for a second, sighs, and lies down to rest. After such a workout, Toothless settles down and quickly falls asleep. Toothless sits at a restaurant table, quietly studying the menu, occasionally glancing around with curiosity. He almost dozes off while waiting for his order, his eyes slowly closing. Finally, the food arrives. He instantly perks up and takes a huge bite out of a taco. Hot cheese stretches comically from his mouth. He chews with a look of pure bliss, clearly enjoying every bite, then happily sweeps the leftovers off the table. The little dragon leans back in his chair and burps, having overeaten. Toothless sits imposingly on the hood of the car. Next to him is an open box of pepperoni pizza. He carefully hooks a slice of pizza with his claw. He pops the whole slice into his mouth and swallows it without even chewing. The street is filled with aromas, warm, vibrant, the kind that make you stop in your tracks. Toothless strolls leisurely between cafes, confidently, as if this were his daily route, and he's the real star here. He passes a Chinese restaurant, a pizzeria, a sushi bar. The smells change one after another. The little dragon stops, takes a deep breath, and his eyes immediately light up with interest. He looks to the left, then to the right, a little confused, as if trying to decide which is better. The choice is clearly not an easy one. After a brief pause, he finally makes up his mind and enters one of the establishments. He calmly orders a coffee, a light, satisfied smile. A thin wisp of steam escapes from his nostrils, dissolving into the air. Toothless looks as happy as can be at this moment. A cozy little Japanese restaurant filled with warmth and soft lighting. Steam rises from the hot dishes, filling the air with rich aromas. The chef flawlessly demonstrates his skill, deftly working at the stove. Toothless sits at the bar, wagging his tail slightly. In front of him is a deep bowl of appetizing ramen, from which steam is still rising. The dragon is trying very clumsily to hold the wooden chopsticks with his claws. He squints intently, grabs the noodles, but they immediately slip treacherously from his grasp and fall back into the broth with a light splash. Toothless growls in irritation, snorts in displeasure, and flings the chopsticks aside as if conceding defeat. Without a second thought, he simply dips his entire snout right into the bowl and begins slurping the broth loudly, completely disregarding his manners. He lifts his head. The noodles hang comically from his nose and have even caught on his ears. He snorts contentedly, his eyes slightly narrowed with pleasure, and licks the remaining noodles off his snout with his long tongue, clearly savoring the moment. In the background, the chef looks on in shock at the little dragon, who has eaten his fill and is now lying down. Toothless turns around and flashes a sweet, satisfied smile. He sighs contentedly and blows a perfect ring of smoke toward the camera. See you soon. Bye.